what's up? It's another episode of Grillos AftershockXL here in my apartment, live in Hell's Kitchen. Just another day in the life, very weird day. Just got back from work. Oh, something on the screen. It's not my forehead. That's good. Just got back from work, getting ready to do another great show. Very, very prominent actor, a very good person, someone I've known for a very long time. You've known him from The Sopranos and so many other big movies. Everybody, Mr. Vinny Pastore. What's going on?
Well, I just got tested negative.
Yeah, I got tested negative, but I also got tested positive for the antibodies. And I was never sick, so I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying my life, Steve.
Oh, listen, I don't. I'm not saying I don't enjoy my life.
I did a concert at Broadway and 48th Street with my band Sunday night.
Oh, I wish I would have known. I live right there. I live on 51st Street.
You wouldn't have came. It was $100 a ticket.
Oh, you're right.
No, but we streamed it. We did it for my friend Nikki Cadero. Was a fundraiser, but it was the first time the band played since January actually, and it was pretty cool. They had it's a rehearsal space, and they had everybody sitting in chairs with the plexiglass in between, and you had to wear your mask. But it was pretty cool. We had about 48 people in the theater. And then we had a lot of people watching us as we were streaming. So it was cool. But, the thing, what happened after I did this was last Sunday, that because you're in contact with so many people, I got nervous and I went and got tested, because you get nervous.
Now, was that an illegal thing? Like, because they're saying no social bans or something?
It wasn't an illegal thing, Stephen. It's the same people who put me on Broadway.
Okay.
Bullets Over Broadway. They own a place called Open Jar Studio. The owner's name is Jeffrey. And he has put me all over with Bullets Over Broadway. It was legal. Yes.
Yeah, and it's not because you're Italian. I'm not being racist or anything.
No, it was legal. You buy a ticket, you come in, you sit in your seat. If you don't want to sit in your seat and you want to watch it from home, you can watch from home. I could send you the link you can sit home and smoke a joint and watch my band.
Absolutely. And now your role in the band is what? You sing?
I sing a couple of songs. Yeah. Why do you think I can't do that stuff?
Who said? I don't know. I don't know if you play guitar. Like, Michael Imperioli plays guitar. He doesn't sing. Do you sing?
Well, but I'm like from those a cappella days. I'm old enough to be your grandfather. I mean, we know this music inside and out. So do I sing? Yeah, I can carry a tune. I mean, I'm not Pavarotti.
Do you play an instrument though? I'm just where do you sit?
I play the tambourine.
Okay, you're like me. But so I know you got a lot going on. Have you been locked down this whole time in City Island? Are you still over there?
Yeah, I'm in my house. What we did is I kind of started doing some work in the house. My drummer in the band is also my carpenter, and one of my acting students is also my gardener. So, whatever you got to do to keep the place up. But we live on City Island. It's nice up here. But this mayor is going to put everybody out of business because how long can you eat outside on the sidewalk?
Not for much longer because it's getting cold out. If it rains, you can't be out there, And Cuomo was just in the paper today saying, he feels that the restaurant owner's pain. But how does he feel their pain? Like if you're not doing anything.
You don't feel nobody's pain.
Yeah.
No.
Are all the restaurants, are they opened up out in City Island and they're out there doing their thing? Everything's locked down.
You got to eat outside on the sidewalk.
I just go there. I like to go to City Island just for the fried clams.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing there.
But Stephen, you still have to eat it outside somewhere.
Yeah. And the funny thing is,
unless you go pick them up and come over to my house and eat.
I might do that. Right. So the outdoor heaters now, you can't have them because the electric ones, you can't have the electric ones if it rains or if it snows, and the propane ones have to be certified by a fire marshal, but they're technically illegal because you can't have propane tanks in Manhattan.
Right. Well, Stephen, I hope that we're not eating outside in the middle of winter with those things. I mean, I think things should change by then.
No, they're not saying it's gonna. It's just it's a really odd time we live in, and I think come November they're going to shut the city down entirely because once this election takes place, they're talking about not accepting results, and it's going to be a chaotic scene once if and when Trump wins, they're not going to accept it, and they're already saying take it to the streets. It's going to be not a good time to be in the city,
Yeah, well, I really don't get into politics too much. I don't want people knowing. I don't want people to know what I do when I go into my voting booth. It's none of their business.
No, I'm not talking about whether I support or I don't support anything. I'm saying what they're predicting is going to happen, the violence in the streets if he does win. I'm not saying if he does win means I support him. I'm just saying the realistic situation that I've been paying attention to.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's bad, but the sadness of all of this is that the great city of New York just tumbled within a matter of months.
It was
talking about last time I was downtown. I was down there March 10th at HB Studios where I teach, and then we went into the lockdown, and then I went back in the end of August to start working on my podcast on Madison. But that was like, boom, you go upstairs, you do the show, you come downstairs, and you go home. And then I went in the other night for the Open Jar concert. And I'm telling you, it's a ghost town, man. It's scary. It looks like one of those horror movies when we were kids.
Yeah, it's I'm an essential worker. I do beer and liquor sales on the side, while I'm trying to get this off the ground. And I've been down, out and about in the streets since the lockdown. And it is a scary, scary situation going downtown. The funny thing is everybody below Avenue C really had no effect on what was going on. They really kind of took to the streets and have been partying in the streets. No masks, no nothing. I don't know if there's any cases down there, but they really just sort of ignored anything that's going on, and they continue to this day. But anything above Avenue C was very strict and sort of a ghost town. But it is. I just came back down. I just came up from down there right now, and it is. It was an odd day in the city today. I went to Katz's for a hot dog, and there was no line, nobody inside Katz's, there's just nobody there. And to say that about Katz's Deli, which is usually a block and a half, an hour and a half to get in there. The line goes down around the block. For no one to be outside or inside Katz's Deli it was an eerie feeling.
Do you have a car?
I have a motorcycle.
Oh, so once you get on your bike and just get out of Dodge, man.
Yeah, I got my place upstate to go, but I got responsibilities down here.
Like what?
I have a job. I have an apartment. I have 2 cats. They just can't get up and go. But I think for the month of November, towards the end of October into November, I'm going to take vacation somewhere.
Go to Barbados. They're letting people. You could do your podcast from Barbados.
Yeah, if I went to Barbados, I don't know if I'd come back.
They're inviting people down there to stay and to live. People
really?
who work from the computers.
Yeah.
They said, why sit in your apartment in New York when you could be sitting on a beach down there?
I'm going to look into that. Seriously. I need to go on vacation bad. So me and you go way back to the Restaurant Brunelli days, and I always love talking to you about that because we had some good time. A very good friend of ours, Gigi the Whale, was a staple there, and Louis Lombardi and everybody down there. And one of my favorite times was like we had a weird dinner. It was like me, you, Gilbert Gottfried, and I don't know how it all happened. Jeff Marchetti was there, I think. And,
I remember that night. We came from someplace and we went there.
Yeah. And so it was an interesting time back then. What's your favorite Gigi story?
My favorite Gigi story is that Gigi used to go to Rayo's all the time. I don't know how he got there, but he always managed to mooch a ride home.
Yeah.
So I finished eating dinner. I'm hanging at the bar with Nikki DeVest, and Gigi's there, and he had a lot of different girlfriends. And he said to me, and I had a little blue. It was almost like a Volkswagen, but it was a Ford. Two people could fit in the car, and you know how heavy Gigi was. He said, "Vinny, give me a ride home." I said, "Where am I going to put you?" So I shoved him in the front seat, and his cute little girlfriend in the back seat, and we were driving home, and he kept saying to me, "Why, with all my money, I didn't have a bigger car than what I had?" But there's I did an animated movie called Shark Tale with De Niro and Scorsese and Michael Imperioli, Jack Black. And my original character was Gigi the Whale. That's the part they gave me.
That's so
cool. I went into the studio, and the way I'm talking to you, it was just before I was about to record, I was talking about Gigi. And where I was getting, my character from Gigi, from Palomé. So what happened is that they screened Shark Tale to an audience, and I got an email from my agent and said, your scene was too violent because Gigi, my character, got eaten up by shrimp. Say hello to your little friend, and they eat me up.
Yeah.
So Katzenberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, actually reached out to me, and he said, listen, we want you to play Luca instead. I said, well, that's Kevin Pollak's role. He said, yeah, but you would be better. Don't worry about Kevin Pollak. So I went in, and I did all of the Luca, the octopus stuff with De Niro and Marty and all that stuff. You work out of the studio. If you look at the DVD, at the end of the DVD, they have outtakes, Stephen.
Yeah.
And they have me telling the story about Gigi the Whale, the real Gigi.
Yeah. And you mentioned Bernelli's.
Yes.
Yeah, no, because Russ Bernelli was actually watching that one night, 4:00 in the morning, half in the bag, was watching the extras because he spit out his drink. He was like, "Oh my God, they're talking about Bernelli's."
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's great.
That's funny.
But everybody who doesn't know who we're talking about, Gigi the Whale was a very famous Italian who went to jail for keeping his mouth shut. Correct?
I don't know nothing about that.
Okay, so but he came out.
I just know he's Ducky's godfather. You want to talk mob stuff? I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, okay. I just said, listen.
You're going to end up in Staten Island, up in the marsh.
So, but he was such a big, bold character and such an awesome, fun person to hang out with. So this is my guy. He would come to Bernelli's on a Wednesday night, sit in the corner, just buy drink. Everything was on the arm. It's on the arm. Don't worry about it. I got it. So he was actually. I thought Gigi could have been a stand-up comedian. Because he was that funny. So there was an incident at Rayo's where somebody was shot in the head. You sure you remember that?
When the girl was singing and somebody told her to shut up?
Yeah, it was that guy.
Gigi was there that night?
No, he wasn't there that night. But the guy that shot the person, because Nikki DeVest told me the whole story. Okay, Nikki DeVest, the famous bartender at Rayo's, is very famous.
Well, Stephen, before you continue on this type of a media to start telling mob stories, you better be careful.
No, I understand because it's a joke. It's not any inside information or any allegations or anything. There was an incident where someone shot somebody at Rayo's,
Yeah, the girl was singing, and somebody didn't like the way the girl was singing. They told her to shut up, and another guy took out a gun and shot him.
Yeah. So
what? You were there?
No, but the guy that shot him was at Brunelli's the previous Sunday. But the next day, Gigi called Brunelli's. He goes, Stevie, you want to go to Rayo's tonight? I heard shots around the house. I was like, and you know Gigi's sense of humor. I was like, only you, Gigi, only you.
I felt bad. God bless Frankie Pellegrino. I felt bad for him because he did not need that kind of publicity for his restaurant. No. He didn't need it. You know, because for people out there who don't know about Rayo's, how hard is it to get a table in Rayo's?
I've sat at the bar. I've never sat at a table. And I knew Frankie Pellegrino. He was always nice to me, but you have to know somebody that has the table. Because you own the table? Is that the deal?
Yeah. Well, they, like Bo Dietl has a table, and Tommy Mottola used to have a table. And if you're not using the table, you call up Frankie and he gives the table away to somebody else. Yeah. But yes, who used to have a table? Sonny Grasso used to have a table, you know, different nights, you know, like Tommy Mottola had a table, and it was when he was with Sony Records, when he was the president. And you don't know who's going to be sitting at that table. One night, Rod Stewart, another night, Madonna. Sting, you know, because Tommy would, if he wasn't using his table, he would call up certain people and say, "You want to use, sit at my table." Yeah. And Frankie Pellegrino would love that, you know, because you have all these people.
Everybody would know Frankie Pellegrino, who was on The Sopranos. He was the FBI guy, correct? He was with Louis Lombardi, the people that you were working with on The Sopranos.
Right, and Frankie and I did Mickey Blue Eyes together.
Yeah, Frankie was in the first movie I ever did was with Frankie.
What movie was that?
It was really bad. If you remember the cop that posed for Playboy, Carol Shia, she got fired for doing Playboy. So I was in Grandma Sylvia's funeral at the time. So I got Carol into Grandma Sylvia's funeral. Lovely girl. Not so much of a. She could have taken your class a couple of times, but God bless Carol. She's still a friend. And so the producer of the show, who was whatchamacallit, forget his uncle was it'll come to me in a second. Anyway, he did a movie called Silent Prey, and that was the first movie I ever did. My on-screen thing was I was a fencer, and Frankie was partnered with Carol. They were cops. So Frankie pistol whips me, beats the crap out of me, and that was the first time I ever did a movie scene with Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie came to Canada. We did Gotti together, but the best part of my life with Frankie was when we put up a play on 76th Street called Lamppost Reunion. It was a Louis LaRusso play that Danny Aiello had done, and me and Frankie put our heads together. And we put the play up again, and Danny's kid Ricky was in it. And Frankie was great. He was great. One night he threw a chair at me. I love Frankie. I miss him. And he was a great person to work with. You know, I always got a table there. I can still get a table.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I didn't push it because it was always like, you know, whatever. But, you know, and in fact, people don't know anything about Rayo's. There's no menu. You just eat what they give you.
Yeah, and you got to pay the check too, because there's nothing on the arm up there.
Well, actually, the last time I saw Frankie, I was up there, and he ripped up my check. I had a bar tab of about $70, and I said, I didn't realize it was cash only. I said, I'll be right back. He goes, give me this. Get out of here. Go. And he ripped it up. He goes, next time. So it was nice. He remembered me. You know, like he knew that, you know, I was a little nervous that day. He had a little nice chat with me to relax. Yeah. And he helped me out and gave me some advice. And I don't forget shit like that. You know, it's like he didn't act like he was like a big movie star.
No. He was a good guy, man. He was a good guy.
Favorite James Gandolfini story?
Probably we had such a great time when we went to Naples, you know. because even though we were working, you weren't working, and uh, Jimmy, we were just hanging out. It was the scene when he meets the Italian girl, who was the mafia, the Don, but she's the female Don. I don't know how you call it. What do you call it?
Doness? I don't know.
Yeah, the Doness.
Yeah, there you go.
And we just had a great time in Italy. We had a real good time in Italy, and we also had a lot of great experiences when we went on the road. We used to go to like Wheeling, West Virginia, and Reno, and all these different places. A lot of times Atlantic City, and we just had a blast. We always had a blast. It wasn't the work was the work, but when we weren't working, we were always, all of us, me, Tony Sirico, Michael Imperioli, Sharippa, Jimmy, just a bunch of guys, Vince Curatola, just a bunch of guys having fun, and we had fun.
No, I was lucky enough to be privy to that for a couple of years, and that's what I always loved about working on the set on The Sopranos for the 2 seasons that I was there, is the fact that no one was treated any different. I was a stand-in, but yet I was always invited to all the parties. I was invited to go to premieres. I was invited to go hang out at the bar,
right.
And it was just like nobody. There was no caste system on that set. Everybody was just one big happy family. Whether you were gripped like Louis Petraglia or anything, everybody was equal, and there was no separation of anything. It was like a big family. It was such an awesome experience.
Well, that's why, because Jimmy created that environment.
Yeah.
See, Jimmy, when he came on board with The Sopranos, he was known for his work, but basically he was known as a character actor, not a leading man, but a supporting actor.
Well, the same thing with Edie. Edie, too, though, no? She was like the queen of like character actors.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm looking for a cough drop. Edie was doing Oz at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little known fact. I don't know if you know this, but Edie was in Private Parts. If you look at Private Parts, when the screen Allison was driving around looking for real estate with all the other women, and Howard was on the radio, Edie was the actress in the back seat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she's another wonderful. I always love to watch her work because she came on and she hit her mark every single time without fail. She was always on point.
Yeah. What happens if I have to cough?
Go ahead. COVID.
Can you get it? Can you get the virus through a computer?
I just did.
Did you read that article that doctor from London said if you're gonna have sex you gotta wear your mask?
I'm in trouble.
I don't know any girl in my life that you can have sex with a mask on.
Well, that'd be most of your ex-girlfriends. You set yourself up for that one. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I get it. I get it. Actually, I'm taking somebody out to lunch tomorrow up in the Bronx, and I haven't seen this girl in a while, and she's a good-looking woman. I don't want her to keep a mask on all day. What time am I paying for dinner for her to look at her mask?
No, you're it's the level of hypocrisy is through the roof. If you're standing next to a table that has drinks, you have to have a mask on. But if you sit down, you can take your mask off. But you have to order food, and if you order potato chips or chicken wings, that can cause COVID. But a hamburger will stop the COVID virus if you're sitting down without a mask. Dude, it's ridiculous.
Sorry. I don't know where you're getting all this information from.
No, these are the rules. My friends own bars downstairs. I'm at the bar quite often.
Wow. You know what's hard to do right now, Steven? Make a movie.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
Make a movie.
Yeah. No,
it's impossible because of all this all these restrictions, and you got to get tested, and you got to be in quarantine. One of my students just came back from Vegas to go out and do some promotion for a movie he's doing. He had to quarantine himself for 15 days in his house.
About it. Yeah, I've been eyeing a couple of bridges.
I'm reading a script right now, and I'm directing 2 plays, so I'm trying to stay alive. Am I making any money? Nah, I ain't making no money.
Yeah, well, it's all changed.
But you know what? But if you're not working, you're not going out, you're home. What do you do? You're not spending any money. The movies are going to open up again. How are you going to eat popcorn with a mask on?
We're going to figure it out. Yeah, I'm curious to know, like, what happened. Think about all the mice in the movie theater that you don't see that it live off of the popcorn. They must have all starved to death.
Well, listen, we're living. I said the other night, if you watched my show, I don't have your email. If I had your email, I would just send you the link to my show, or you can see it on Facebook.
I'll text it.
I said, welcome to the new world. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Top of the show, welcome to the new world. We all have to adjust to what they need us to adjust to. Otherwise, we're all going to get sick again.
Yeah.
And if it takes, like when I go sing with the guys, I bring my own microphone. When people get out of my car, I wipe it down, the seats. I do that. I go to the bank. I bring a little spray. I spray the buttons. I get checked a lot. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to die? You're not going to die. People died. We lost so many people. But if you want to keep living, you got to make some adjustments,
No
kidding. And that's it. That's it. Like if I have to go cross country, Steven, I swear to God, I'm driving, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting in my car. I'm going to roll about 20 joints, and I'm driving cross country.
Here's the thing with that, though. If you do that, you have to stop at several different places, gas stations, banks, hotel rooms. You're in and out.
What if you go cross country in an RV?
That'd be a lot of fun. I see you.
Yeah,
that's a different story. But if you go on a plane, you're exposing yourself for 3 hours. Where if you drive, you're exposing yourself for 5 days.
No, you're not. You're in your own car.
But you got to get out. You got to get gas. You got to go out. You got to get food. You got to go out. You got to get shelter. You're going to have interaction on several different levels. And I'm not afraid to interact with people. I'm not afraid to go. I wouldn't mind doing either one. I'm not afraid to get on a plane.
No.
I was in there was a show down in Tampa that invited me to come down there for a week. They were going to put me up for a week. I was going to do their show and my show separate for a week. They really enjoyed me having them on. But if I went down there, I'd have to come back and quarantine for 14 days. And I kind of had to rethink what that was. So I was like, I was just fuck it. I'm just not going to quarantine. And then I called a buddy of mine. His name is Jimmy Hayes. He was the head of Homeland Security for New York, say about 4 or 5 years ago. And now he's doing private shit. But I called him up and asked him to make a couple of calls to see what the real deal was. And he called a couple of big muckety-mucks here in New York as far as, higher rankings. And they were like, this mayor is on a mission to keep people on lockdown. He goes, and there's just more of an excuse if they find out that you went to Tampa to keep you inside. And they're actively pursuing that. He's like, do yourself a favor, wait for the travel ban to be lifted. Because if you don't stay outside 14 days and they catch you, and they're going to try to catch you, you're going to be in a shit ton of trouble. It's like a $25,000 fine or something like that. So I scrapped Tampa for now, But
I know people who've driven back and forth to Florida.
Yeah. No, I know.
They came back. I know a wonderful girl in my life. She drove down to Florida. She came back. She lives in Jersey. She's okay. You know. It is what it is. What are you going to do?
I know. Yeah, I did. I went fishing on Friday. It was great.
See, the problem with you, as opposed to me, is that I live. Well, I got a porch. I got water down the corner for me. I can walk to the post office. I could walk to the bank with my sandals on and my sweats. I don't have to leave City Island. And when I do leave City Island, I go to New Rochelle, I go to Pelham Bay, maybe up to White Plains. Lately, I've been going a lot to Connecticut because Connecticut's wide open. You could eat anywhere. And I'm okay. I'm okay. Am I enjoying my life the way I thought I would be enjoying it? No, because at my age, this time of my life, I should be going to film festivals and all kinds of stuff, traveling. And we were supposed to, me and Steve Sharippa and Michael, we were supposed to go to Great Britain, a 15-city tour. We sold out. So now they pushed it over to May of 2021. But these are the things that we all lost out on,
You know what I feel bad for is Michael Moto, who did Sopranos Con, was supposed to do Mob Con, like it was supposed to be in May, and he had that whole entire hotel booked up, and it was going to be this giant Mob Con thing, and he lost out on that whole project.
But is he alive?
Yeah, no, he's alive. He's alive. He's doing well, thank God.
Okay.
I say friends with him on Facebook, and I see he has a lovely family, and he's enjoying his life. But he's a
very good guy. Yeah. The rug got pulled out from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's really, really sad. Where I got friends of mine coming over the house just to pick up a few bucks. Instead of me having my gardener do the work, I have my friends do it because people need money, and it's very, very sad. How do you make money at a time like this? And unemployment's running out, and everything's running out, and SAG, all of us lost all of our insurance. Yeah, we all lost our insurance. It's unbelievable that you have to make $25,000 a year to get your insurance. Well, how are you going to make $25,000 a year when there's a COVID going on and everything's shut down? You can't make nothing.
There should be, this is why I have my problems with SAG, because I think they're very much about themselves. I had my issues with them, but there should be a contingency.
Oh, I'm on the board,
Yeah. No, I told you, there shouldn't be a contingency plan for stuff like that.
No, because the insurance is an outside entity. It's like anything else. If there's no money going into the insurance program, they're saying that they can't cover the costs of so many people that are sick now. Well, when did this happen? Did it happen March 10th, or was it coming down the line? You understand? That's what I'm trying to figure out, So when we have these meetings, we go like this, well, when did you notice it was going to happen? Don't have a meeting and say, oh, we're going to have a meeting today, and we're laying off 45% of our staff in Wilshire Boulevard. Oh, you're having a meeting about that? You knew this was coming.
Yeah.
You know it was coming. So what happens is that they're telling the guys over 65, like me, you go on Medicare. They're telling the guys over 65 like me that residuals are not going to be counted as your income towards that $25,000 you got to make. They're telling guys like me, go on Medicare, enjoy your life, and find a secondary. They don't care. And they're telling anybody who does extra work that if you made $13,000 and get insurance, they're telling them, now you got to make $25,000. How's a guy doing extra work going to make $25,000 a year?
You got to work 7 days a week. That's it. I've done extra work, and I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
I know
so what happens, Steve, and everybody's upset, and I will speak up because, like, I was voted on the local and national board. The national board I have a problem with, but the local board, I love everybody on the local board. Jim Kerr's on it, and Mark Barone, and Rick Zahn, everybody on the New York local. What happened is that the union has become more about the working actor, the guy or girl who's always working, because of course they're going to make their $25,000. They can make that in a week, So all of the benefits are going towards the people who really don't even need them, and that's what's wrong. You know, that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
Where the people who need it, you know, they're losing insurance. They're losing everything. So things have got to change, man. Things have got to change real fast.
You know, it's just the problem with that union I had was, you know, I did an independent movie where, you know, I was me and 3 other SAG members, and they didn't want to use a SAG contract, but we were all very cautious about the fact that if we don't have a SAG contract, we're going to get either fired or kicked out of the union. So we made the director go get a SAG contract on purpose. What happened was he had to spend a lot of money and got the contract. I still have the contract in my drawer. The movie, he disappeared. Then all of a sudden, like maybe a year later, I'm in Suncoast Video out in LA, and there's the movie on the shelf. And now we had a contract, and if the movie was ever released, we were supposed to get $10,000. The movie was released from the people that released it. You know, what's the point of the contract?
Steven, if you had a SAG contract,
Yes.
Well, then the money was supposed to be put into escrow for the union actors and be paid to you. So the producer never did it.
Yeah,
it's not SAG's fault.
But my point of a union is, if you do go into a contract and the person on the other side doesn't come through, shouldn't they be actively protecting you and going after them to try to get that money? They basically they said we're screwed.
Because a producer doesn't have to comply to union rules if he's not going to use union actors.
Yeah,
if he uses union actors, then he has to comply to union rules.
Yeah.
But a lot of producers, they don't comply to union rules because they don't want to pay into health and pension. They don't want to pay overtime. They don't want to pay travel. They don't want to put an actor on a business class ticket, fly him somewhere. So they go under the table and they say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And basically it's a non-union movie. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If it was a union movie, you would have a union contract, and the union would be on top of it.
So you must I always kid around with Mike Starr about this, like, because I still get them. I did, the Sopranos, NYPD Blue, where I still get residual checks.
Yeah, from the union.
So you still get does it go to you or does it go to your agent?
No, that goes to you. The agents aren't allowed to take commission out of your residuals.
No, but I'm just saying, I have 1 million checks around here for like 13 cents.
Well, why don't you put them together and go buy some pizza?
That's the other question. I know that the residual money is coming.
Don't move. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
Don't move.
Okay.
Are you still there, Steven?
I'm here.
These are called residual checks.
Yeah.
And that's because I broke my ass for 28 years. And you're telling me I can't support the union. Well, if I didn't get these checks, there's no way I'm going to have food in my refrigerator. Plus, I'm on a great pension. So the answer is, do your union work. Make sure these guys put everything into health and pension. When you hit my age, you'll have a nice little pension, and you can sit back in your apartment down in wherever you live, Alphabet City, and smoke all the hash you want. Nobody's going to bother you. But these are called residual checks.
Wait, so I'm curious. So mine are for like $1.14, 35 cents. Well, what are yours? Are they like substantial, or are they like?
What are you with the IRS?
I'm curious from one actor to
another.
Well,
it depends. If you get a residual check from like an animator, we were talking about Shark Tale.
Yeah.
I mean, those residual checks are nice.
Yeah.
If you get a residual check from Sopranos that ran like for the 15th millionth time, it's like 3 cents.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. Now, as a SAG board member, here's my question:
$19.62. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Buy a cheeseburger. $79.47. But you know what? I shouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Because this money that comes in from the union, this money that comes in from all the work that you have done in your life, it helps, and I don't know how to control it, but even with the new contract, when they stream stuff, you're going to get your money, because I did Wu-Tang and Hulu wasn't giving you residuals, but now they have to with the new contract. And Amazon, no residuals, and Netflix, no residuals, but now they have to. And especially now, because, look at the movie, what's his name just made, the kid from Saturday Night Live with Marissa Tomei.
Staten Island, something with Staten Island.
Yeah, it went right to television, and they were all union actors, right? And up until the new contract, we weren't getting any residuals from anything that was streaming.
So here's my question.
I'm gonna tell you another thing right now, and don't get scared, but don't be surprised if the union doesn't crack down on you and tell you to go union with your podcast.
Wow, well, the radio. That's what I'd be curious about that, and I wouldn't mind it if the union. I knew the union had my back, but. Here's the deal. So all those 13-cent checks that I've been getting for the past 10 years, 13 or 15 years that I've never cashed, is that
why not?
Because cashing a 13-cent. Listen. No, my fault. My fault. My question is, because of my irresponsibility, all those millions of residual checks that I've never cashed, is that money somewhere, and do I have access to it?
What are you asking me that for?
You're on the board. You're on the board.
You know what? I'm supposed to know an answer like that. All I know is that when you get a check, you go to an ATM machine and you put it in and it clears. And nowadays, you can even use your cell phone. So if you want to live in a stone age, just because it's 15 cents.
It's my irresponsibility. I'm just curious. If I wanted to access that money that those 15-cent checks that I didn't cash for the past.
They didn't clear. They're worth nothing.
No, the checks aren't worth anything, but where's the money that they were sending me? Where is that? I've called SAG about that.
What's up your nose? I don't know. It says you got to cash this check in 30 days. It says it right on the check.
Oh, and if you don't, where'd the money go? That's my question. I don't
know. Maybe it went to me. Maybe I got it.
Well, give it back.
Maybe Gigi got it.
Yeah, well, probably. So, we'll talk about what you're promoting on here. We're having such a fun time with you. But I'm curious, what's in your refrigerator right now? What do you got?
A lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. I drink coffee like crazy, so I got my creamers. What else in my refrigerator? Why? What do you think is in my leftover? Nothing.
I picture in your refrigerator you have a tub of fresh mozzarella. No. Maybe a couple of pickled eggplant or something like that. No. Maybe like a big thing of pasta left over from last night.
No, I lost 23 pounds.
Good for you.
I lost 23 pounds by here's how I lost 23 pounds. Walking, hitting my bike down in the basement, I clean my house myself. Ain't nobody coming over cleaning my house. Most of the time I do my own yard work, and I watch what I eat because I'm diabetic, Stephen, and I can't eat chocolate and all that sugar stuff,
Yeah,
you watch what you eat.
Yeah, I just lost one of my best friends to diabetes. 47 years old. My mother has type 1 diabetes. She has neuropathy. My Aunt Doreen has type 1 diabetes.
I have neuropathy.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing.
I take the pills before I go to bed. Yeah. Everything goes down to your feet. It's crazy. But I have a wonderful masseuse that comes over and rubs my feet.
I'll leave that one alone. And
the neuropathy is tough.
Yeah,
you know how you get what? You know how you get the neuropathy? I got my neuropathy from my radiology.
That's what she got it from. She had a cancer scare. She had to go for the radiology, and she had a big operation. She beat whatever the little cancer thing was, but after that, severe neuropathy.
That's right.
Yep.
She's got to watch her diet, Stephen.
She's pretty good at it. Yeah. The only problem is,
what?
She likes to have burgundy wine.
Wine's all right. Wine's all right.
She's the Irish part of my family. She's the Irish part of the family.
Wine is okay, Stephen. My father drank wine till he was 97 years old. We had a gallon of wine in the hospital with him.
Yeah, that's what she likes.
Wine's okay.
Carlo Rossi Burgundy by the jug handle.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with a little wine, and it probably makes us sleep better.
Well, yeah. Well, everything is. She likes to drink a lot. She's Irish.
Well, she's got to stay away from hard booze because it's got all that sugar in it.
She doesn't.
White wine is good.
No, she does the Burgundy, but she's on top of it. She has to be, or she'll be dead. You know, if you don't follow it, my best friend was 47 years old. You know, and he died from it. So, it's something you got to watch. So, you got a lot going on, and I love the fact that you finally figured out how to use a computer. I'm very proud of you, Vinny.
Well, what happened? I tell you what happened is that as soon as this happened with us, you wanted me to go on the air with you, and I was so perplexed. I didn't know how to do anything. I was like really shutting down on myself. And God bless little Stevie Van Zandt. He said, we're going to start putting some work up on Zoom. I said, Zoom? He said, yeah. I said, I don't know how to use Zoom. And Stevie said, it's the new future. You better learn how to do it. Yeah. And between Steven and Maureen, they taught me how to do this. I have a session with Zoom every day. I just did Nashville. I did Tampa. You know, I do the Zoom stuff. I enjoy doing the Zoom stuff. On my podcast, I don't want anybody in the studio. My studio's in Madison. But the guests Zoom in, Stephen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just me and Goomba Johnny. And Johnny's about 4 feet away from me. And the guests Zoom in the way I'm zooming into you. Yeah. And we have a show. We have a conversation for an hour. And you got to get used to it. What happened?
Wait, first of all, where could people find your show, first of all?
Well, I think it's going to be anywhere.
Okay, you don't know the information. I'll get it from your agent. We'll put everything.
No, I do.
If you want to put it on my network as well, you can do that. Yeah,
Vinny,
you go.
What?
Just say you can go to the link below. I'll edit it in. Your agent sent it to me. I'll edit it in.
Okay.
So when I get off the screen, say go.
Ask me that question again, Steve.
Okay. So, Vinny, where can we find all your material, your podcast shit?
Oh, well, you can go to the link below.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta love modern technology.
Right. And we're going to premiere next September 14th or 15th. We're not sure. Our first guest is going to be Tony Darrow. Then we have, we already got 4 shows in the can that we pre-taped.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're going to mix them up, you know, and you got to come on, Stephen. Come on.
Oh, you know I'm there for you. You know that. I got you.
You got to come on.
And
I got Colin Quinn coming on. You know Colin.
Wonderful guy. I've only met him like once or twice briefly, but I will say one thing about him, you know, that he is instrumental to helping Artie Lang out, who I think is, you know, has always been nothing but a good friend to me. And Colin Quinn was there for Artie and helped Artie actually, for the last time, get through his shit. And I'll always appreciate that. I don't know Colin personally. We've met briefly, but I've everybody that that I'm good friends with, that's good friends with him, says nothing but great things about him.
He's got a new book coming out, so he's going to start promoting it. So maybe you could get in touch with him through my people.
Yeah,
and maybe Colin would. He's going to promote his new book.
I would love that. I would love to read his new book. I would. It would be a pretty fun thing for me to have him on my show and talk about. We have a lot of mutual friends, and it's I just never. I know he knows who I am. We never really had the chance to hang and party. He always just left, or I just got there.
Yeah, I met Colin when I was working with Ted Demme on a movie called Who's the Man, and that's when I met Colin. And then we did something a couple of times, and but so he's one of my guests.
Okay, who else?
Chaz Palminteri did a show. Little Steven did a show so far. Catherine Narducci did a show. We got Kathy Moriarty coming up. We have Jackie the Joke Man coming up. You know Jackie.
Yeah, he's not talking to me right now. He's not talking to me right now.
Why is he not talking to you?
Well, we always had this like sort of rule when we worked on the show. It's like, if we're going to talk about personal shit, you say this is between us, and we all abided by that rules. And something happened where he didn't say that, so I thought it was public knowledge. And I was doing the Stuttering John show, and John asked me how Jackie was, and I mentioned something that I shouldn't have mentioned, but he didn't tell me not to mention. I didn't break the rule.
So in other words, you're on Jackie's shit list.
Yeah, right now. I know he still loves me, but he got annoyed about what I did, and I apologize. But sometimes you got to let people let them get over their anger. And I hope
I think the best way for you to make up with this guy is to actually invite him on your show.
He's been. That's when I found out that he was mad, is because I invited him on the show, and
he said no.
Well, he's been on the show a million times.
Oh,
he actually,
okay.
No, he would listen to my show. And he goes, "I love listening to your show," and he would give me critiques. Stop cursing so much because I got a sailor's mouth. And he'd be like, "Do this, do that," but you're doing a good job. He was very encouraging. He's been in the studio with me a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And listen, he's been a mentor to me for like 25 years of my life. And I know he'll get over it, but I'm giving him his a little space, and I understand.
Yeah.
But he didn't say not to say anything. But then again, when I thought John was asking me the question, I thought John already knew, and he didn't. And then of course, John's minions start harassing Jack.
All right. People have their problems, and they make up and they move on.
I think that'll be the case.
Be like that.
So
it's got to be like that. Yeah. I had that. My school, HB Studios, is closed, so what they're doing is online teaching. I didn't get into that, but what I'm doing is I'm putting a couple of plays together, and I do it via Zoom now. And it's hard because, like, if I'm doing a scene with you and I'm looking at you, you're there and I'm here. There's no physical contact. It's just you're saying your lines, I say my lines. So it's not easy. I tell my actors it's a constant close-up. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's a constant close-up. But I really, I got to say this. I really hope that things start to turn around and we can start living somewhat of a normal life again. I mean, I haven't seen my family, my granddaughter, my daughter, since January.
Where are they?
They live down in Washington, D.C. area. And, I see them this way, FaceTime, Zoom, all that stuff. But it's hard. It's just hard, and I have to say this because I do live alone. When we were going through the worst times during the pandemic, I was saying to my daughter, if I get sick, I'm not leaving this house. When everybody was going to the hospitals and and I'm going to tell you something. And I don't know if you mind if I say this, but people say to me, "How did you make it through the pandemic?" And I tell them I stayed high.
Yeah,
I smoked pot from 9 o'clock in the morning until it was time for me to go to bed, and I did my work and I watched the news, and I was still able to walk. And there was something about the marijuana that brought down my stress level, Stephen. It brought it down. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that all my friends that were smoking the weed during the pandemic, nobody got sick. Yeah. So,
I'm a firm believer that marijuana has been wrongly accused for way too long. It has so many different purposes and so many different strains that can help people out. My dad's having a little bit of a rough patch right now with the stress level of you're going to get sick, you're going to go out, you're going to catch something, you got to stay home. He's an old school guinea who doesn't like to sit at home and do nothing. He's been active his whole life. And but there's no way in hell I could tell him something like that. With Dad, you know what? You might want to try smoke. He's never done a drug in his life other than taking aspirin. What's that?
I don't call it a drug anymore.
I know, but Yo, you know those old school people. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
my dad's old school. He's that quiet Italian guy that sits in the corner, don't bother nobody. You know, he doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't like to take antibiotics. He barely got to force him to take an asprin.
Well,
you know?
that's okay. That's okay. He don't want to go to doctor. He's old school. He don't want to go to doctor.
Yeah,
you know?
But he's been going more now, older in his old age.
I wouldn't say to your father, Vinny Pastore said you should smoke marijuana. He'll come over here and he'll wreck my house.
No, he won't.
Say that.
Not my dad.
But I'll tell you what. It could help your mother's neuropathy.
Yeah, she's more inclined now to try. She's been doing the CBD oil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it just they grew up in an era where they didn't do drugs. They were anti-drug. And if you were doing drugs, you were a bad person, and that's the way they were brought up.
Well, if you were doing drugs, of course you were a bad person. I mean, how can you be a good person if you were doing drugs? Yeah. But I watched Woodstock last night. It was on Turner Classic Movies. I said, that's never, ever going to happen again in my lifetime. Never.
No.
Never.
No.
And they were all smoking their weed and dancing in the mud and listening to Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Joan Baez. And, that's never going to ever happen again.
My favorite performance was Santana.
Oh, yeah.
Soul to Squeezer or whatever.
Soul Sacrifice.
Soul Sacrifice, man. Oh, my God.
Right.
You know the story behind that, right?
What?
They took some mescaline, and they were supposed to play and Santana tells the story. They were supposed to play at night. So they took the mescaline at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And all of a sudden that mescaline starts kicking in at 2 o'clock. And they're like, Santana, things have changed. They're going on now. And they were
I didn't know that.
They were all tripping balls. And they were like, we can't go on right now. And they were like, you don't go on now. You're not going on at all. So Santana describes that whole thing that they were at the peak of tripping on mescaline. And he thought his guitar was a snake, and he kept trying to straighten the snake out.
I gotta watch that again. Yeah.
So, but he tells the story, and it's really kind of cool. But that one episode,
I met him up in Sirius a couple of times.
Yeah,
Carlos.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. Yeah, very spiritual.
But he seems like he's cool as fuck.
I remember he had a concert all the way downtown near Seaport, and I was invited, and it was a big high roller benefit, but I was invited, and I had this girl that I was seeing with me, and we go backstage, and Carlos looked at her, and he looked into her eyes, and he said, "You're driving him crazy." And she said, "What?" He says, I see it. You have to bring down your energy. You're going to drive this man insane. And he just walked away. And she said, what the hell was that about? I said, I don't know. He picked up the bad vibe, man. Yeah. But listen, even when I do my show the other night, we do Evil Ways as part of the show. Everybody loves to hear that kind of music, man. It just takes you to another place. And it's what it's about,
do yourself a favor, and I know you're an old school Stern fan, and I can't play it on my show I don't know anybody can play it, but go to YouTube after we're done, because we definitely got to wrap it up in a little bit. But look up. It's one of those bits that Howard did on the show back in the day. It was called a Woodstock Minute, and basically it was about this is in the infancy of Billy West. You know who Billy West is, right? He does all the voices. Billy West with Ren and Stimpy, Doug, Bugs Bunny, everything, all the future.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. So Billy, this is where Stimpy came from. He did this impression. Everybody did Moe, everybody did Larry, but nobody did. No, everybody did Moe and Curly, but nobody did Larry. So he did this hysterical Larry Fine impression. So Billy West.
Oh.
So it's one of my favorite bits from the old school Howard days. So basically, it wasn't visual; it was just audio, and it was basically Larry Fine in an old folks home explaining why he was so mad, why he was kept out of the Woodstock movie, and it's Billy West doing Larry Fine and how he was just like how he's the one who convinced Jimi Hendrix to light his guitar on fire. And he's the one that convinced that he was the one who made all the announcements: "Stay off the towers. Don't eat the brown acid." Did
you know the guys from Pig Vomit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Timmy and John Curtin.
Timmy Curtin. He hits me up on Facebook every once in a while.
Timmy's my dear friend. We do some shows together. Actually, he just sold me before the pandemic a nice sound system. I have it downstairs. It's all hooked up. Some of the guys have been coming over. We've been working on some tunes. So Timmy's right there. But they used to play at my club in New Rochelle.
Please, if you talk to Timmy, send Timmy, Mike. Well,
I don't know why you don't bring these guys on your show, Steven. It doesn't always have to be a wise guy actor like me. You could have a great conversation with Timmy Curtin.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he's got great stories. So, all right, you know what? Where can everybody find you? Let's get all the important things in. Where's the plugs? All right, Noah will put everything up.
Let me tell you something. I was sitting on my porch the other day, having a cup of coffee, enjoying the view, and these people pulled up, and they go like this. I thought I was in Hollywood. There he is. That's where he lives. So when that starts happening, you say, okay, do I need some peace? So what's coming up? I got my podcast on United Stations. It's going to be on YouTube all over. My co-host is Goomba Johnny.
A legend, by the way.
I love Johnny.
Yeah.
That's about it. I talked to Resorts Casino this morning. They're not doing any live entertainment till 2021. So we're talking about an outdoor event. Everything I got is on hold. I'm teaching. I'm doing Zoom. I'm happy. You know,
if someone wanted to be a student, remember, you don't have to talk about this if you don't want, but I'm just curious.
No, I don't want to talk about that guy on this show.
I just had the only reason.
Don't even bring it up. Don't even bring it up.
Okay.
You send me these tomatoes. Don't send me any more tomatoes.
I didn't send you though. He was already there. I didn't do no favors. I was just like wondering.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Yeah. But there's something, something different about him. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a friend of yours.
He could be
a good actor. He could be a good actor. I offered him a very important role in a play I was doing, and he said he couldn't handle it. And I was glad that he was able to tell me that honestly at the beginning. But he did drop your name a lot, and he's a good guy, and he's a good actor. But let's not bring up his name.
Yeah, no.
I don't need a lawsuit. No.
So
how can people study with me? Well, I do acting workshops at HB Studios, and all you got to do is log into HB. And when the school opens up, you see when the next workshop is. And my prerequisites are they got to be a guy like you, Steve, that knows something about acting. Don't come in and you don't know squat because I can't handle it. Yeah. You know, I tell people, like there was one guy that came in and he was having a lot of problems. And I said, what do you do during the daytime? And he told me. And I said, why are you here? I want to learn how to be an actor. I said, you don't learn how to be an actor. You either got it or you don't have it. You know, you either got it and you're going to stick to it all your life or you don't have it. You know, you can go study with anybody and they're not going to make you a star. You're going to make yourself a star. You're going to make sure that you don't give up. You know, like you talk about the old days. You talk about when we were doing extra work. Well, we would scratch just to get an upgrade, to get a line. We would go and register with Sylvia Fay on those open calls. You know, you do anything. You did plays. You did, you know, people now, and I think it's because it's not even the MTV generation anymore. It's past that. It's beyond that. They want a shortcut. They want a shortcut, man. They want to like take a pill and all of a sudden they got an Academy Award. And it ain't going to happen that way. You got to pay your dues, man. You got to pay. Yeah. Like, come on. You talked about Mike Starr. Come on. I was watching him in Miller's Crossing the other night. You know? And that was back in early 90s with John Turturro. I mean, and we knew Michael as a friend, a great guy. Ducky, look what Ducky did to his career, Louis Lombardi.
I got to applaud Louis because he's like an inspiration. Any actor that needs inspiration, Louis never gave up. Louis never gave up.
No, he moved out to the West Coast. He was on 24. He was on Sopranos. He worked with all, everybody. He's got a movie out now called something about Steve McQueen. I love Ducky, and I can call him Ducky. And Ducky, you talk about acting. Well, acting, Stephen, is reacting. When I was doing those scenes with Louis Lombardi, it was like two guys just talking, man.
Yeah.
We had the rhythm down. We knew what we were saying. We knew where we were going. We used to go on the set, do 1 or 2 takes, and we'd be on our way home. And then you watch that stuff 20 years later, and I say, well, why were we able to nail it? And I'll tell you why we were able to nail it. Because we constantly rehearsed. We didn't give up,
Yeah.
We were in the car. We were running lines. We were about to shoot. We were running lines. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. I was watching Turner Classic movie the other day. They were talking about how James Dean always ran lines. Yeah, you got to run your lines. Gandolfini was running his lines all the time. He used to get pissed off at Joey Pants because Joey Pants didn't know his lines. Joey Pants was getting his lines fed through him through an earphone. So if Jimmy would say something to him, Jimmy had to wait like 3 beats before Joey would say the line back because somebody would read him the line. But listen, it's all what it is. It's what you put it. It's like, just like your show. It's like anything else. It's like my sauce. It's like my band. It's what you put into it.
And red sauce. Hello, let's talk about the sauce for half a second. Let people know that you can get your sauce.
You can get my sauce at VinnyPastoreSauce.com.
There you go. I would think that you would have do you eat your jar? So do you have your sauce? Like you have like a whole closet full, and you just pour it on your stuff, or do you actually go old school and make it from scratch?
All right. Okay, I'm going to leave you on this note.
Okay.
During the pandemic, everybody was staying home cooking.
Yeah.
So I said to the guys, you got to put the stuff on City Island. He says, yeah, that's my brother-in-law. I said, that's your brother-in-law down the corner? I should have a big display. He said, well, I don't want to ask him. So I went down to the store, Dominic's, and I said, you going to put my sauce up? He says, yeah, I'm waiting for the stuff, blah, blah, blah. He put the stuff up, it was gone in 2 days. Boom, it was gone. So then you couldn't find the stuff because the factories were shut down. Nobody's making the sauce, and you can't buy a jar on the shelf. So I had a couple of cases here, for people to come over to my house.
Yeah.
They knocked on my door one day and took the stuff back.
Yeah, nice. But do you still like to make your sauce? When I make sauce, like my mother's Irish, my dad's Italian. When they got married, my grandmother on the Italian side grabbed my mother one day, locked her in the house, and said, "If you're going to marry my son, you're going to learn how to cook for him."
You better, yeah, right.
Yeah. So, but my mom was like, they had a great relationship. So my mom learned how to make sauce and everything, and my mom's passed that down. But my sauce is never the same. It's always just a little different. Is it the same with you, or do you have a strict like a list of ingredients that you do portioned out?
When you live on City Island, you go out to eat, or you pick up the phone and they deliver it. As far as sauce, it's got to come out of the jar, so it takes me 2 minutes to heat up. Sometimes.
Do you make it still old school? Do you make your own sauce? Like, you just say, okay, today, I feel like cooking. I'm going to go get all the ingredients. I'm going to sit and I'm going to make a batch of sauce. And no?
I'm just going to buy a jar and you put it in, you heat it up and you pour it on top of the stuff. What I got to go through all of that for?
Because it's fun.
I got other things to do. Like, I got to read this script.
And you got 18,000 residual checks you got to cash.
I got to go to the bank. It's, how long it's going to take for me to put these ATMs in that machine over there? I'll be there till tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
All right? So that's what I want you to do. Listen to me.
Okay.
Steven, I want you to go and get all your checks and put them together and put them in the ATM machine and see what clears. Because you're messing up the system,
Some of them 15 years ago.
I'll say hello to Jackie, the joke man for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And what else?
We'll figure out when I'm going to do your show, and we'll have some fun.
Well, I'll tell you what we could do. If Johnny ever has to take like a night off or something, you come in and you co-host with me. That would be better.
I would. That would be an extreme honor, Vinny. And I would
because
definitely do that.
we have a nice chemistry here. But I don't curse, Stephen. I don't curse on the show.
Okay.
My granddaughter watches it, so I don't want. You know,
I can fix that.
It was hard with Tony Darrow because every other word out of his mouth was, the F word. Yeah. And I said, Tony, we don't want to curse on this. So they started saying freak. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but anyway, Stephen, it's a pleasure. I finally learned how to do Zoom, and say hello to everybody. And what else I can say? By the way, the name of my show is called Forget About It.
Well, yeah, I already did.
So.
No,
so I'm doing this show with Michael Imperioli, and he says to me, "So Vinny, what's the name of your show?" I said, "Forget About It." He says, "No, what's the name of your show?" I said, "Forget About It." He says, "Why don't you want to talk to me? Why can't you answer me?" I said, "Forget About It's the name of the show."
Third base.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
right. Thank you,
and tell Michael I said hello, and I would love to have him on the show at one point.
All right. So I'm going to log out now, right?
Yeah, you can just log out or something. I don't know. Me too. Leave studio. Bye. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, kids. Bye.